I'm here with the Association of African Universities Television, AUTV. I just want to say that without the media, you won't know what's going on in the world.
Good morning and welcome to the Hello Africa morning show, coming to you live from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities here in Accra, Ghana. Let's begin with the top African news. South African prosecutors have reopened the case into the death of anti-apartheid activist Steve Biko nearly half a century after he was killed in police custody. Authorities say the move is part of the efforts to confront apartheid-era atrocities and bring closure to victims' families.
His name was engraved in history. Steve Biko, the founder of the Black Consciousness Movement, died in police custody in September 1977 after being brutally assaulted by apartheid security officers. He was just 30 years old. At the time, police were cleared of wrongdoing. Even during South Africa's Truth and Reconciliation Commission in 1997, officers admitted to the assault but escaped prosecution. Now, 48 years later, the National Prosecuting Authority has reopened the case, vowing to present new evidence before the court. The aim is to determine whether his death amounted to a crime and who should be held accountable. The move follows a directive by President Cyril Ramaphosa to investigate whether past governments deliberately block apartheid-era persecutions. For many, Biko remains a symbol of black liberation whose voice was silenced too soon, but whose struggle still echoes today.
Still in South Africa, the Constitutional Court has scrapped an old law that stopped men from taking their wives' surnames after marriage. The ruling follows a challenge by two couples and is being welcomed as a major step for gender equality.
South Africa's highest court has overturned what is called a colonial-era rule that only allowed women to change their surnames in marriage. Two couples took the case to court, arguing that the law was unfair and outdated. The Constitutional Court agreed, ruling that it discriminated against men and reinforced inequality. The couples, Henry van der Merwe and Jana Jordan, along with Andreas Nicholas Bonman and Jace Donnelly Bonman, can now officially take their wives' surname. With the judgment now in place, South Africa's parliament will have to amend the Birth and Death Registration Act to reflect the decision, ensuring equal choice for men and women in marriage.
Turning our attention now to East Africa, African leaders and climate activists meeting in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, are calling for a radical shift in how the world finances climate action. At the Second Africa Climate Summit, heads of states urged global partners to see Africa not as a victim of climate change, but as a partner for investments.
Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed opened the summit with a call to replace climate aid with climate investment, showcasing projects like Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam and the National Tree Planting Campaign that has planted 84 billion seedlings in 7 years. African Union Commission Chairperson Mohammed Ali Yusuf highlighted the debt burden and structural inequalities facing the continent, stressing the need for climate justice. Kenya's President William Ruto warned against isolationism, insisting that only bold and united actions can prevent climate catastrophe. Activists, meanwhile, pressed for accountability. Greenpeace Africa's Amos Wemanya urged taxing polluters and super rich to fund climate action, while environmental campaigner Hindao Umaru Ibrahim warned against too much talk and not enough action. Delegates are expected to finalize the Declaration of Africa's Climate Priorities later this week to be presented at COP30 in November. COP30 President Andre Correa do Lago attended the summit, pledging support for Africa's vision. Prime Minister Ahmed captured the continent's message: Africa does not want charity, it wants investment.
Now to West Africa, where Burkina Faso is making a bold pan-African move. The military government led by Captain Ibrahim Traoré has scrapped visa fees for all African travelers. Authorities say the policy is aimed at strengthening unity, boosting trade, and celebrating African identity.
Burkina Faso's cabinet announced the decision after a meeting chaired by Captain Ibrahim Traoré. The young junta leader, often seen as military fatigues and his trademarks red berets, has styled himself as a champion of Pan-Africanism and a critique of colonial legacies. Under the new policy, citizens from all African countries will no longer pay visa fees to enter Burkina Faso. However, travelers will still need to complete an online application for approval. Officials say the move reflects Burkina Faso's commitment to regional integration and is designed to promote tourism, trade, and Burkinabe culture. The country now joins Ghana, Rwanda, and Kenya in easing travel requirements for Africans. But while Traoré's popularity on the continent has grown, amplified by social media, critics point to his authoritarian style and the persistent jihadist insurgency that has left nearly 40% of Burkina Faso beyond state control. Still, scrapping visa fees marks a symbolic step towards the Pan-African vision of freer movement across the continent, one that the African Union has long encouraged.
Back here in Ghana, two leading civil society groups are warning government against making citizens pay more for water because of the Galamsey crisis. The Integrated Social Development Center and the Africa Water Justice Network say the devastation caused by illegal mining should be treated as a national security emergency, not an excuse for record tariff hikes.
The Ghana Water Company Limited is seeking a 280% increase in tariffs, blaming rising treatment costs tied to illegal mining. But ISODEC and the Africa Water Justice Network say the solution lies elsewhere. In a strongly worded statement, the groups insist that Galamsey is destroying rivers and ecosystems and must be tackled decisively by the state, not passed on to ordinary households through higher bills. The statement highlights Ghana Water's own inefficiencies, including a sharp rise in non-revenue water, the costly tertiary desalination contract, and politically linked procurement as major drains on the company's finances. The groups recommend urgent investment in pipeline rehabilitation, metering, and anti-theft enforcement, alongside renegotiating exploitative contracts. They are also calling for a new water solidarity fund, financed by a levy on oil and mining revenues to safeguard the sector. For them, water is a human right, and they argue that tariff hikes without reforms would be grossly unjust and a betrayal of public trust.
And that's how we end the top African stories. Stay with us for the news review when we get back from this break. My name is Philemon Edwards.
Explore a whole new world of exciting visuals with AAU TV. Get ready for a mix of interesting talk shows, interviews, discovery documentaries, and news on AAU TV. It's not just about watching TV, it's about experiencing something special. AAU TV reaches over 25 countries in Africa, bringing you a blend of knowledge and fun. Learn about different cultures as you enjoy the shows. If you have events or want to showcase your business, we've got you covered. Watch AAU TV free-to-air channel on satellite. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter, at AAU TV. Reach out on call or WhatsApp us at +233 26 629 6601 or +233 20 399 5210. AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
Hello Africa, keep watching AAU TV.
This program is proudly Welcome back from that break, and you're still live on the Hello Africa Morning Show, coming to you from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities here in Accra, Ghana. And if you have missed the first few minutes, we just finished going to the top African stories, and we're just about to get into the news discussions with my brother, Dr. Ajiman Otredakon. How are you, Doc?
I feel I'm doing good by God's grace, and you?
I'm doing very well.
Splendid.
And how was your weekend?
It was a good one. You know, we're actually enjoying this calm climate.
Yeah.
And it's good for Ghanaians.
Yeah.
The sun has been dimmed slightly.
Yeah.
And we are just coping through the cold, dry, slight weather approaching end of year.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah. Awesome. I had a beautiful weekend as well.
Splendid. Splendid.
It was quite relaxing.
You look amazing. So, I mean, it tells that Phil had a great weekend.
No further comments. No further comments. Anyway, so last week we had a beautiful session here with the AAU TV Media Masterclass, which was an attempt to boost digital media skills for higher educational institutions in Africa. It was the maiden one that we had. You moderated quite a number of sessions.
It was an honor to be there to participate in that regard.
Definitely, and I had a chance to do same as well for some time. What is your take overall about this first ever media masterclass?
You know, on the whole, I would say it's one of the greatest steps in the right direction from the AAU TV. In the AAU TV strategic plan or goal plan, it was a media network created to be the outlet of information so far as higher education excellence is concerned.
Okay.
And not only become a media network, but become a hub of excellence where we can now ebb good training, good skills, and best practices so far as higher education media broadcasting is concerned.
Yeah.
So we actually en route to a place where we become a niche for higher education media excellence broadcasting. A point of excellence where we can now become a shining star for any media network who wishes to now engage in full-time higher education broadcasting. So we are on that path, and this step is the right direction. We are also becoming that point where capacity building will be a commonplace.
Yeah.
We can now build capacities of others, strengthen capacity, and sustain capacities across the continent. And that is how you begin. It's a journey of 1,000 miles, and this is the first step, and many more will follow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Absolutely. I like your point about the point of excellence in broadcasting for higher educational institutions, because before this masterclass, I took the chance to review some content from online randomly, and I looked at a few videos, and no disrespect to any higher educational institution, I'm not going to mention names anyway, but you could tell that the quality of videos that you see or anything that had to do with multimedia online was not done with a lot of intent, if you ask me. Or maybe because I'm already in the field, maybe I was looking at certain things other people may not be looking at. So given what we had to do here last week with the likes of Professor H.A.C. Kanku from Unique Mark, Mrs. Beauty Oleki Labi, Mrs. Cecilia Vockley, and then Dr. Andrew Azasu of Encore Media. I mean, when we saw at the end of the session, the participants had to put together their own content from scratch, develop a storyboard, do whatever they had to do, create something just for 2 minutes, and and I was just impressed because when I look at what the things I have looked up online compared to what participants had done in 3 days, and then they had just 1 day to put together a story from scratch. Storyboard, videos, everything. We made sure they had whatever they needed as well, and to put up those 2-minute video in 3 groups. I was just impressed. I don't know if you had a chance to see the videos.
You know, first of all, I would say kudos to the leaders and members of the AAU TV team.
Absolutely,
because this is a mere example of teamwork and team cohesion. it takes a lot of team mechanism to get these things executed.
Yeah.
So everybody within the team had to understand what role they had to play to undertake or execute this 3-day program, and did it so wonderfully.
Yeah.
One other thing, I engaged participants over some time to time, and I realized that some of them came with an expectation. Their goals or their aim for coming was that they have been underestimated.
Yeah.
They have been more of like marginalized within their own institutions. People looking down on their ability and their contribution, universities progress path. But don't forget that PR and media is a very interior part of every institution's framework.
Yeah.
Because who would inform the world about your good works? Who would tell the world about your achievement? It is the same PR department. So it's about time that universities pay attention to their PR departments or media units and invest into them. So this event is one of the ways you can invest in your PR and media units to build capacity.
Yeah.
You become more exposed on the best practices that are available out there. And this and many more will now help your institution be well positioned, social media wise, getting effective videos, writing better stories for you, and help building your public image.
Exactly.
And that is how it's done.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So those of you who missed the media masterclass of the AAU TV, just make a point, follow us on our social media handles or at Association of African Universities on YouTube and then Facebook, and then we'll keep you posted as to when the next cohort will be beginning, most likely definitely next year. And Doc, a quick one before we get into the story. Today is September 15th, and it is the world's International Day of Democracy 2025. How excited are you about this?
You know, let's take it back to where democracy was born. The very first president of the USA, Abraham Lincoln. I mean, I always say I admire his definition of democracy, because today, if you want to understand democracy, you have to confer or from what Abraham Lincoln stated, that it is government of the people, for the people, and by the people. It's all about the people. And it's not just following the bandwagon wrongly, but taking popular views which are reasonable enough. It's all about people, collective safety, and sanctity. Nothing more, nothing less. Giving the people the center room. And we have tried with elections. If every institution across the world does true and fair elections, we realize that it's the people who go a queue and then vote. I am taking away vices like Reagan, which I don't think I should be entertained about. People go there and decide who should lead based on what they want to do. People share their views on social media. Gone were the days they write letters. Today you have to pick your phone and comment on a matter on social media constructively to have government see and listen and work with. People meet to talk about matters. So it's all about people. Even those in leadership are people. They were once also in the floor commented. And now if you are given the nod to go and lead, you were once within the audience or the population. So it's all about us. So tolerance. I would say democracy is embedded in tolerance. Tolerating each other is important.
Absolutely.
Rising above fascism, the fascist lifestyle, fascist mindset is also one of the hurdles that we can overcome to maintain and strengthen our democracy. Tolerance, and concern for national growth. I mean, are all parts. But one word I would say that underpins and strengthens democracy is tolerance. For whether good or bad, tolerate, because it's about people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to say congratulations to Ghana again in our last election for how much we went to tolerate each other, irrespective of the political divides and the religious divides and all of those things. Because it's one beautiful thing Ghana always celebrates, especially even when you meet for national assignments. You find the Christians and the Muslims, especially saying prayers together, bonding together, and doing things together. I just do hope that the rest of our African nations and everywhere around the world, they will equally tolerate each other, and you know, we have a better world, because this is just the only way we can all grow
Most definitely.
globally.
One continent, one country.
Definitely.
Just tolerate each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So getting into the main stories, and this we'll talk about tolerance here. Okay. So in our first story today, South Africa's Zulu king, Masuzulu Kazwelithini, has publicly challenged Professor Masuzulu to a stick fight. So this is a king challenging a professor to a stick fight, which is a traditional Zulu thing.
Yeah.
Saying both he and the Zulu nation were insulted. The clash stems from comments Professor Zulu reportedly made about public spending on royal palaces, while the king said the remarks undermined his authority. The professor insists he meant no insult and has expressed concern for his safety after receiving threats. So basically, this is a professor who's made public comments about how much the government is spending on royal palaces, which are often managed or run by the Zulu people of South Africa.
Yeah.
And now the king is upset because he feels insulted. And the professor says he meant no insults.
Yeah.
This is a conflict of an issue of tolerance, like I said. It's an issue of, if I may say, freedom of speech from the end of the professor. Yet the king feels insulted by it. Maybe some nerves were touched. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this is a difficult discussion. So let's begin this discussion from the cultural point of view. The stick fight. I am just interested to know why the king would choose a stick fight between himself and the professor, first of all, to settle this. Because traditionally, as far as I know, the stick fight is a thing. For example, if you and I had a battle, we had to do a stick fight. Whoever wins, wins the day. So then that's about it, irrespective of how positive my ideas or whatever brought us the conflicts is. It doesn't matter. Once you win the stick fight, that's about it.
Definitely.
But I don't get it.
It's just a fierce contest that he wants to have with him. It's a very interesting story right here. 21st century, you have the stick fight as a ground to determine who's right or wrong.
Exactly.
But he's being more indigenous about his views and thoughts. But let us try and then take it from the indigenous point of view and then to a whole civil view, all right? On a civil basis. The professor, Shulu, Musa Shulu, is entitled by law, because democracy is what on the grounds of democracy. Professor Musa Shulu has the grounds to make comments, to make speeches, based from his point of view. If it's what we're seeing on paper, it was an objective view he had expressed, that he thinks that resources could be used in other ways, more better, economically viable means, rather than just invested in the aesthetics of castles or palaces. And that is a view expressed. Has the view he has shared carry hate speech? Has the view expressed encroach on the sanctity, peace, and well-being of the people of the Zulu kingdom? It doesn't. It's a fair opinion expressed that anybody could express. But it only becomes offensive if perhaps the Zulu kingdom feels like they are within an era where nobody questions their authority because they are on their own in terms of they are autocratically empowered. That it could be a different conversation. But this is a fair view from a professor who feels like we could have done more economically viable things than just invested in stages of buildings. And just calling, and from the other view, challenge me to a stick fight and let me deal with you.
That's the ridiculous part of it. It appears to me.
Let me deal with you for your irresponsible comments.
It appears to me that
what could be the best response that will come from the Zulu king? What would be the best response? I mean, he's offended, and I was like, "Come, let me challenge you to our drill. If you can beat me on this, then we will take your views. But if not, I'll defeat you. Then keep quiet." So I think it's pretty more of an entertaining matter. It shouldn't be held in so much grief. Prof has the right to either give in to the fight or not, because that fight is legitimate. It's a contest they do with the Zulu Kingdom. So he can go for the challenge and then make it work if he's very good and very tactfully skilled. If not, he should just reject it and then sit somewhere quietly.
Yeah. I mean, he has maintained his stance that he meant no insults, like the king is actually trying to perpetrate. But on the other hand, on the public debate front, people are tending to agree with the fact that there's a lot of millions being spent on the royal palaces, while there are other pressing socio-economic challenges that can be, equally attended to make life better. So I think here the argument will have to be an issue of we know how much the Zulu culture is more like a brand and a personal thing for our friends in South Africa. It's one of the things that defines them, and everybody around the world admires it. Okay, it's a beautiful culture. But I think that we have to be objective about the debates in the public front. Yeah, there's some millions being spent on the royal palaces and edifices and all of those things. But of what effect or what's the value of what the Zulu Kingdom brings to the people of South Africa when you juxtapose that to issues of socio-economic matters, and then it feels like some of these monies can probably be channeled there. Okay, and then everybody, whether Zulu or not, is a South African, then they can all benefit from this social economic gains rather than just focusing on the edifices. I think if they have an objective conversation about this, okay, so maybe this is where the king I think this is where the king has to call Professor Shulu to say, okay, let's have a conversation about what you think. If you say that you're not insulting me, make your points, let's see how relevant these points are, and we can go into this matters. But I don't think that it has to be an issue of a fight.
There is a matter of, it's a matter of largesse, right? If South Africa isn't monarchical or driven by monarchy, this would make a lot of sense. Yeah, because it's like UK. UK is having its governance built on monarchy, and therefore the King of England, King Charles, is the one who has the largesse, has the control over all the resources in the United Kingdom. And therefore, if you find that he's spending so much in castles, you can speak against it because he controls all the resources. That takes care of everybody within that space. Yeah. But in South Africa's case, the one who has control of largesse is His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa. Yeah. He is the president, not the prime minister. And therefore, if anybody sees an economic unviable activity ongoing, they should throw it to President Cyril. Yeah. Because he is the one who holds largesse over all the resources. Yeah. If you go attack the Zulu king for being so enthused about his the lucrative outlook of his palace, you are being unfair on one hand. Yeah. Because that is the Zulu resource. That is what the Zulu people have as their resource. Their contribution they make to governance, you have no idea. So if they want to have a plush outlook on their palace, that is their business. If you have any question about economic viability and what's not viable, direct it to the president. But don't go attack the Zulu king when he chooses to do something that will please his soul in adorning his palace and attacking him that, well, he's being unreasonable economically. I think that to one extent, you are actually speaking against his authority as a king, because there is somebody you should be throwing economic tantrums at, not him. Yeah, he doesn't control all the resources of the South African economy. He only controls what belongs to the Zulu Kingdom and what is entitled to them. So you cannot go attacking him. So Prof. Musa Shulu, to an extent, makes a fair statement, but it is not responsibly bad or he's not liable. The king of the Zulu Kingdom is not liable to that burden of proof, because in the first place, he doesn't control, he is not in the largest position to control what's happening in South Africa. He can only do what belongs to him as king of Zulu. So if he's speaking in context to the livelihood of Zulu people and then the amount of money spent in the Zulu palace, then he's right that the people of Zulu are economically broken, they are jobless, they are volatile, they are desolate, and you are spending over $1 million or plus to do your palace. I think, Mr. King, you can rethink this. He can only speak to the people of Zulu and their leader that I think you can use these resources to do something better to help the people of Zulu than rather put it all together in your palace. And if that context is built, I agree with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yet again, one of the biggest concerns I have here coming from Professor Shulu is this. He has alleged threats from hired assassins and underscoring the real risks critics of powerful institutions may face in African societies. I mean, we have just discussed between ourselves what we think can make this work. I don't think that these two leaders in their own rights cannot sit down to talk about this issue. For me, for the fact that there's an alleged threat of hired assassins in the mix in this situation makes it a bigger issue for me, because I don't think that either of these two trying to hold on to their stance are being wrong in any way. Everybody has a reason for what they say. Okay, this is a public address that Professor Shulu just made. The king may not be happy about it, but I strongly believe that the South African community is watching, the Zulu community is watching. I don't think that the king will be pleased to know that his subjects are watching to see that he probably is in quotes, he's a violent king, sort of, to want to challenge the professor to a fight to settle this matter or whatever. Because I feel like there's a way out of this. And we don't know the extent to which this alleged assassins issue is true or not, but let's assume that this issue is true. That sends a huge security concern for me, not only for the professor, but anybody who probably might even speak in favor of what submission the professor is making. So I think that this thing can be looked into. And like you're saying, the president, Cyril Ramaphosa, must wake up and look into it, or have his ministers who are responsible for security and whatever look into this issue. All right, so we will jump straight into the next story, and we are going straight into Nigeria. Have you ever seen any beauty pageant where albinos are contesting?
You know, I've never seen one before. It's my first time hearing of one, and I'm very glad.
Awesome. So in Lagos, Nigeria, a unique beauty pageant has been held to celebrate diversity and raise awareness about albinism. The albinism advocacy pageant crowned Anita Chidibube Dike as its new queen, with a mission to fight stigma and promote greater understanding of albinism in society. Organizers say the event aims to challenge long-held beauty standards while spotlighting the talents and resilience of people with albinism. I must admit, I have seen a few pictures, probably two, on Instagram of models who were albinos. And I tell you what, they were stunning. So to hear this as well, for the first time, that is a beauty pageant for our brothers and sisters who are albinos in Nigeria, it's a fantastic thing for me. And I like the fact that it is stemming from the place where they are using this issue to first of all fight stigma, because growing up, I don't know if you have known this let me bring it to the Ghanaian setting. When I was growing up, I had a lot of interesting things about albinos.
Okay,
for example, somebody ever asked me, have I ever seen or attended a funeral of an albino? I don't even know many. The only one I knew when I was growing up, I don't know where he is right now. It was a kid at the time. I don't know where he is right now. So I don't know anyone who's an albino. So to say that I have known somebody who's an albino, or I've seen or heard an albino that has died, for me to attend their funeral. So that thing, let's say I can call it a myth, because it's an interesting. I don't know if you have seen one.
I haven't really.
Exactly. Yeah. So it almost makes it look like, okay, it's almost true what people say, because the thing is this. The second thing that follows that question is, no, it's not a question, is that they say they disappear. They don't die. Like, these are things that I think stigmatizes people like that. Because the truth is they are flesh and blood like us. They have some kind of genetic whatever situation that makes their skin whatever it looks like and their hair whatever it looks like. So this awareness for me is a beautiful thing. I don't know what you think about it.
I think that it is more of a moment where we have to lift up this stereotype and marginalized culture when it comes to the Africans sitting against albinos and how we treat them and how this long trend of treatment has to a longer extent had an effect on them. So they also, to an extent, have had this inferiority complex. It takes a while. Have you ever seen an artist in Ghana who's an albino, if not for this recent, is it TV3 Mentor? I think one of the runner-ups, Jay Bino, who also came into the scene to prove a point. So we now have an artist in Ghana who is within that group of persons called albino space, and then we have one in Nigeria as a contest. Gradually, we should be encouraged to now open special spaces for albinos to also come out with their true self and talent. Because you mentioned they are also human beings like us, and they have something to offer. But we, over time, due to our cultural, I would say, nuances and hurdles, have not given them that enabling space for them to be who they want to be and feel free and feel good about who they are. But rather, we have used these cultural divides to marginalize them, to make them feel so down by themselves and lose confidence in their own self, potential, and abilities. And I think it's about time we put a stop to this, based on these events, to now have a change of mind and now bring them together into the limelight as we have seen happen in Nigeria.
Yeah. So for people who don't know what albinism is, let's just give you a brief understanding or just a summary of it. Albinism is a genetic condition caused by inherited mutations in genes that regulate melanin production. The melanin production is what makes your skin black. So these genetic changes prevent the body from producing or distributing melanin, the pigment responsible for the color of skin or hair and the eyes. So it's a genetic condition.
And these disorders, I tell you, two couples can come together, 23 chromosomes from each other, and then these genes will divide, the cells will divide, and at the end of the day, I would say through a disorder, one of your offspring would become albino.
I think I've seen a picture like that somewhere on social media.
And these are, they are just unfortunate. Other disorders like autism, hair loss, these are all genetic disorders that happen as a result of an error in cell division. So it is nobody's fault.
Exactly.
If you have a child who ends up in that situation, it is not your fault as both couples. It's just an error in the cells dividing wrongly, and each chromosome has a role it plays from number 1 to 23. So if one chromosome fails to divide properly through the cell division phases, then you can have that disorder coming up. So, I mean, we shouldn't be so hard on albinism as if it's some see it as taboo. I mean, go on with the days where the knowledge to appreciate the evolution of these situations. Okay, we call them names, spiritual children, whatever, and we have gone past that. Today's science has proven beyond reasonable doubt that when cells divide wrongly, you have disorders as these popping up, and this is just how we should manage it. They are very okay. It's just the cells responsible for melanin production being halted or I would say cut off, and that is just the issue. That's all.
I appreciate this initiative because per the statistics of Nigeria, there are over 200 million people living in Nigeria, and about 2 million of them are albinos.
Interesting.
That's a huge number.
Yeah.
Over 2 million people. So for whoever this is to come up with this idea, for them to make sure that there's some sort of advocacy and demystifying issues about albino or albinism, is a fantastic thing because they have everyday struggles. For example, I do understand that during the day they struggle to see properly in the light, so some of them have to resort to wearing glasses all their lives, and they are much more comfortable at night. You know, it's a big deal. So kudos to the organizers of this pageant, and I do hope that as the advocacy is going on, the community or the society of Nigeria will embrace these people, and then they make sure that they feel good. You did mention how there's an artist now in Ghana. It reminded me about this Big Brother Niger thing that is currently ongoing. For example, I think this is season 10. 1 or 2 seasons ago, there was one of the contestants who was an albino, and I was glad that it was a male.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he had the courage to apply to be a part of the contest, and he was allowed in. And
Definitely.
I think his presence made a bit of a difference
Sure.
in the house. He didn't stay long in the house, though, when I followed the story, but I was happy to know for the first time that there was somebody like that in the house. And that platform for Nigerians is quite huge because it gives them a lot of exposure
Absolutely.
for many things. For him to have been able to get there, kudos. So congratulations to Nigeria for leading the way. We'll get into our next story, and it's about the story of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
U.S. authorities have arrested a 22-year-old man, Tyler Robinson, from Utah in connection with the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The arrest marks a major development in an investigation that has raised fresh concerns about political violence in America. Kirk, co-founder of the nonprofit Turning Point USA, was shot dead earlier last week in what Utah governor described as a political assassination. The FBI and Justice Department are yet to issue formal comments, though a press conference was scheduled in Utah. I think over the weekend they made some comments already, and I do understand an arrest for the guy has already been made. And first of all, condolences to the family of Charlie Kirk. Regardless of who he is or who he was, I don't think that any human being merits to be murdered in the open. In that regard, whether he's pro-Trump or not, whatever. I mean, it's sad. He's a human being. He has a family, and now he's been taken away. So condolences to the family of Charlie Kirk. Now, this killing has reignited debates about rising political extremism in America. What do you think that this is leading to?
It is unfortunate, very unfortunate, to have this occurred at a time where we believe the world had come far, more civilized, more tolerant, more, I would say, more intelligent. To an extent where we have everybody's opinions. We appreciate everybody's opinions for what they believe in, and are seeing the need that if there should be respect for each other, democracy allows us to take everybody's opinions for what it is. Your opinion may not be the same as my opinion. And that is why we put everything to a popular vote to see what the masses think about.
Exactly.
So in electoral contest, when one party gives their manifesto, the other party does theirs, propaganda or whatsoever happens, then the final decision making is made by the people who go and vote to choose who they want. It is not room for us to attack each other physically through violence, assault, or battery. That's not a contest. The contest is not about fight. If it was a fight, we just open the ring for flag bearers to enter and box.
Exactly.
And whoever makes the knockout wins the election. But we have gone beyond those physical attacks to subjecting this brawl into an electoral contest where people, civil minds, go and then stake their vote to tell who they want to lead. In a case like Charlie Kirk's assassination, Charlie Kirk is the leader of Turning Point, a very opinionated movement. He goes around to discuss matters that to him he believes as important, helping people to reconceptualize matters and see the sense and logic in them. He has spoken on LGBTQ. He has spoken about black marginalization. He's spoken about even Africans and poverty. He's spoken about a lot of things. Yeah. And I mean, it's interesting when you go to these campuses, he has people attacking him verbally, but he does his best to also put his opinion out there. Some will say, well, he's been harsh or whatsoever. Whatever the rapport has been, at the end of the day, there has been respect for democracy, where everybody's opinion is respected. Let the final verdict be in the hands of every single citizen of America to say, I think I agree with Charlie Kirk or I disagree with him. I can boldly say I agree with you or I disagree with you, but it doesn't. I don't have the warrant to attack you based on what I think. And people called Charlie Kirk a fascist, not because he was autocratic, but because he was pushing an agenda of race. He has interest in race, some sort of lack of empathy for other race based on the fact that he marginalized, or he speaks against the fact that blacks are just making it up, that they are actually being stereotyped and marginalized by indeed their own deeds. I mean, a whole lot of things. Does that warrant anyone to go pick a gun and shoot him and say, because I hated the way his opinion was? If you look at what the FBI came out, the police came up with, the murder, the one who killed him, Tyler Robinson, after the murder confessed to his father, I think it was before or after, about how humiliated he was by Charlie Kirk at one of his gatherings. He claimed that he was humiliated about one matter. He was made to look so stupid and unintelligent based on the matter. And you know, Charlie Kirk is very, very, I'll say he's very intelligent. He's a good speaker. He has this intimidating ability.
And he's strongly opinionated.
Yeah, very strong opinion. So he has a way to make you look very stupid at the end of the day if you are not also having that same ability to make you feel so. So he was down on that. And then he had planned in his mind that I'm going to deal with him. And that was the approach he took. But if you call Charlie Kirk a fascist for his kind of words that he says, what does it make you going to pick a sniper and killing him? What does that make you too? You are a super fascist because you have gone to take a measure or an approach which is more deadlier and more terrible than what he does. And there's a lesson for America. America has had too much and many of these kinds of assassinations. We can take it back to the time of President Kennedy. We take it back to the time of Martin Luther King. We take it back to just recently, President Trump's rally. I mean, America is better than this. It's better than this. I'm sounding this to America today. They should step up on their moral fiber. They should step up on their democracy. If they claim to be the hub of democracy, they have more work to solidify that claim. Because it's too many of these public assassinations. So many great leaders in America were eliminated through the same way. And it is not nice at all. The world is watching. And they can do better building up or re-strengthening or reviving their moral fiber to be more tolerant. If America doesn't tolerate each other, then America is losing its grounds of democracy. They should do better on this.
I mean, this raises two major issues for me as well. First of all, if you have some opinions now, I'm sure anybody will be thinking to themselves, am I okay going out there to express it? Whether they are right or wrong. Okay, because you don't know who agrees with you and who does not agree with you. And then they would want to take a side, and based on that, they might want to react. And when it comes to the moral part of the argument, I mean, there's so much that we can say is missing in America, but we do also know the foundations of America built on God and Christianity for that matter. And when you talk about morals, we know you're talking about religion as well. So I do side with you on how much America has to set up when it comes to morals and making sure that the young people they are bringing up are coming up well, and then there's a fear of God in them that I mean, assassinating somebody would not even be an idea that would be in any child's mind. But Tyler is only 22 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a nice thing for a young boy, regardless of what his reasons might be.
Yeah.
This is not the way to go. He's taking away somebody's father, an uncle, a breadwinner, I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Quite a huge influence in the
Yeah.
American society. So it's not the way to go. But I just do hope that the law enforcement folks responsible for the matter will deal with it appropriately, and then justice will be served, and whatever has to be done will be done. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of the whatever anybody thinks about Charlie Kirk. So again, our condolences to the family.
And
of
for, you
Charlie
know,
Kirk.
just one last point on
Sure.
this Charlie Kirk issue is the regulation of ownership of weapons, fire weapons.
Absolutely.
You see,
Absolutely.
if you have checked the data, the last time somebody nearly carried out an assassination, that person was equally young.
Oh yeah.
22-year-old Tyler Robinson did this. The same age range or less was this young man who almost took
Yeah.
President Trump.
Yeah. True.
We've also had young children carrying weapons and doing mass shooting in schools happening in America.
Yeah. Last month or so, there was an incident in one of the schools, and these kids were even in church, in school.
Yeah.
And this person went to fire.
Kids,
Yeah.
younger children carrying weapons
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
and doing mass shooting.
Yeah.
What is the status of America's gun ownership regulation?
That's a big deal.
Yes, who is entitled to own a weapon in America? And what is America's effort towards ensuring that if you own a weapon, it has to be responsibly owned? And the age range of persons who own these weapons should also be scrutinized.
Yeah.
I think America should be responsible in this aspect because it's far too many young people engaging in these public shootouts. It should
absolutely
be
agree
checked
with
very
you.
well.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you because the statistics don't look good in favor of
Most
the
definitely.
of the young ones. It
Most
doesn't
definitely.
look good at all. So hopefully President Trump and his team will be able to deal with this matter and make some good progress when it comes to gun violence and safety in America. On our next story, sadly, over the weekend we had the news of Apostle Dr. Kojo Safo, founder of the Christo Asafo Church and the Kantanka Group of Companies. He passed away at the age of 77.
Yeah.
And he's widely known as the Star of Africa. Apostle Safo was celebrated not only as a preacher, but also as an inventor, innovator, philanthropist, and industrialist. He pioneered the Kantanka automobile brand and championed local manufacturing in Ghana. His daughter, former MP and Minister Sarah Adjei-Safo, confirmed his passing in a family statement, noting funeral arrangements will be announced in due course. And I'm sure you can see on your screens some of the things he invented. I mean, it's beautiful to see that this person, a Ghanaian, a preacher, an inventor, a philanthropist, a man of many things, wearing all of this caps, doing all of the things that he did. I mean, or you can see on your screens this beautiful armor he built.
Sure.
And then an armored car, you know, and he has done his bit.
Yeah.
And first of all, condolences to the family. I am saddened by his death because he's one person who, like we call him the Star of Africa. He widely established the front of local automobile manufacturing in Ghana. And I am glad that to some extent our government has given some support such that among government fleets of several ministries, there's always a Kantanka vehicle somewhere in there, and we have lost him now.
Yeah. You know, Phil, I would say that condolences to the family.
Yeah.
It's only a family. It's a whole movement.
Exactly.
The Christo Asafo religious movement
Certainly.
have lost a hero. Ghanaian inventors and science enthusiasts have also lost a hero.
Yeah.
Nana Kodwo Safo is an embodiment of a lot of things. Philanthropy is one core stake of his life. For so many years, since his infancy, adult age, he committed his life with his Christo Asafo movement into farming.
Yeah.
And he was well known in Ghana for so much, as far as agriculture is concerned, animal husbandry, crop production, a whole lot.
Yeah.
All the food, I would say the food ecosystem we have in Ghana, Kodwo Safo is one of the very major stakes in it, with the food crops he produces. And also, when he does that, he doesn't sell them. He donates these food crops to his members and does more charity to many people in Ghana. He's known for that philanthropy aspect. You can't take it from him. The other aspect is that he's also a religious leader who also led the Christo Asafo movement, just like any other religious group in Ghana, using the right principles, using the love for each other, respect, and also good citizenship skills imbibed in these people. You see them. You can never hear. I've never heard any news anywhere that Christo Asafo members did this or did that. I think they've all been cultured in this respect for humanity and for God, and that is very important. And that is a good trait that he has so laid down to bring that sanctity in the people of Ghana, as far as the Christo Asafo concerned. Finally, is that he's also a very important forebearer within Ghana's fought in the revolution. Ghana's evolution within the industrial zone, that trajectory cannot be told without the contribution of Nana Kodwo Safo. When every country was doing he was doing TVs that could speak. TVs that when you clap will go off. When everybody was going through entering that digitalization, robotic programming space, he was programming TVs that could.
He went ahead probably a decade before we started seeing these things, because at the time some of his vehicles would have some sort of an alert when they
were speaking AI. TVs were speaking to human beings that go back in tree Kowechina Meba. You'll be scared. You understand?
You know, people made fun of it, but I think they didn't understand.
No, as at that time there was no AI. What was AI? AI was not proliferated like as it is now. But at that time, that was AI.
Do you think he has not been well celebrated?
I think so. He's. We always say that a prophet isn't given the respect within his own hometown, and it's a fact. If Kodwo Safo was somewhere in MIT, he would have been rubbing shoulders with the likes of Steve Jobs, and Bill Gates,
Elon Musk and co.
Yes, but in your own country, when you begin to do these things, people overlook it. Which government at all, at a point in time, gave him the room to leverage his innovations? There was one government that said, well, I'm going to give you a contract, supply your vehicles to the security forces. At least it was an effort made to also support indigenous production of his vehicles. Who else has ever done that before? So if you don't support, Elon Musk wasn't Elon Musk overnight. Elon Musk was supported by state institutions to become who he was. Sometimes you need that state buy-in. And Nana Kodwo Safo has not been given that kind of notarization that he needed. In fact, he had been doing his own thing, and he had always said that if he is given the room to contribute, Ghana or Africa will be transformed. At least he proved it. At least he proved it. Whoever buys it is their business. As far as I'm concerned, at least he proved to the country Ghana and to the whole wide world beyond Africa that yes, he too can do it. And the black man could do it. He was more Pan-African, believing that the black man who has been labeled as, in quote, useless, unintelligent, not brilliant, not innovative, is a fallacy. The black man is capable of managing his own affairs. The black man is capable of being innovative and turning his own country around. But the black man has a deficiency. We call it esprit du corps. The spirit of cooperation is not enough in the black man. The black man's issue is when they see their other black man rising, instead of supporting them, they pull them down. That has been the black man's deficiency. Our problem has been the fact that we don't support each other. We rather fight against each other. And if I don't help you to cross, how can you help me to cross?
Yeah.
And that's the reason why we've gone in circles for so many years. And Nana Kwadwo made that point clear, that until we come together as one, to give credence and indulgence to each other, to lead the way and we follow, the black man will be a follower to the white man, until we ourselves come together and say, well, lead the way amongst our own self, we will follow you, we'll be free.
Yeah, absolutely. On the note of pulling people down rather than supporting them, I have a little bit of fear about his passing. Over the years, we have seen when business moguls and icons pass on, their legacies are not sustained by the families they have left behind, especially. I do know, for example, I think one of his sons, Kojo Safo Jr., is responsible now for the Kantanka business. I just do hope that, given his level of maturity, given his level of education, he'll be able to sustain his father's legacy, because already they have produced vehicles that are in the system, and they are trying to see ways and possible means to make sure that what they have started is going to be sustained. But now that the father has died, a small part of me is thinking about that thing seriously.
Do not be dismayed. I can guarantee you on behalf of Safo Kantanka Jr., because if I consider that the moment he was brought into the business fully to understudy, it's as if Nana Kwadwo Safo Sr. knew what the future holds. So he brought him in and made him the CEO of the Kantanka automobile industry company, and made him lead the fort. And I've seen some of their videos during the Great Koza TV days, not Kantanka TV today, but those times they used to hold programs on other stations called the GKA TV, where you see him in his overall leading the way, being part of the process, and the multitude of persons who were being trained and apprenticed in there, both men and women, who were welding, cutting metals, fabricating engines. You could see that the future is bright.
Awesome.
That the legacy of Kwadwo Safo Kantanka will not die today nor tomorrow, because he has empowered a lot of people who are equally passionate in carrying his legacy. So be not dismayed. It will move on, and we all live to see the strength of the Kantanka industry as our own Ghanaian indigenous automobile industry, not going to die tomorrow, but will live on and bring more innovative and super vehicles that we've never seen. This is the beginning.
I will be glad to see that, because I want to see this legacy live on forever. Not because it's a Ghanaian thing, but that idea of when the visionary dies, the vision doesn't live on anymore. It's a thing I struggle to accept.
The point is, the likes of Ford, Bugatti, these were all cow Benz. They are not living today.
They are not there anymore.
They died many years ago, but their legacy lives on today. What exactly is the strength that lived on within them? Is that acceptance. First of all, there should be some deliberate acceptance. Before Benz became Benz, the origin of Benz had to hold on to that. This is our own. We push it. So we could now cross borders and become popular and more prolific across the continent, because its source holds it in high esteem. You, within your own setting, refuse to hold your own in high esteem. So you expect the one beyond the border to do that for you?
It won't work.
Yes, we need to change our minds as a society. We can build a very strong industry for ourselves in this Ghana to go international if we hold it in all high esteem and give it our best to keep it alive and sustainable. It starts with we holding it down.
I do hope Kwadwo Safo Jr. will do his best to keep his father's legacy alive. And I'm very concerned about this, because we need to bring a complete end to these issues of when a visionary dies and then the vision dies for him. No, it shouldn't be the case. any longer. So our condolences to the family of Apostle Kojo Safo Jr. and Ajo Safo Teka. To the rest of the family, our condolences to you. We'll go into another big issue still in Ghana, and this is about the issue of the fight about Galamsey. President John Dramani Mahama recently did say that he will not declare a state of emergency in the illegal mining areas, insisting that Ghana's existing laws are sufficient to tackle the menace. Speaking at his first media encounter since assuming office in January, the president stressed that the fight against Galamsey is a process, not an event, and highlighted reforms such as the creation of the Ghana Gold Board to ensure profits remain in the country. The president also addressed issues on mining in forest reserves, economic recovery, and press freedom. And Doc, I am going to tell you straight to the point. I am disappointed in the statement by our president that he's not going to declare a state of emergency in the illegal mining areas, and he's insisting that the laws are sufficient to tackle the menace. I completely disagree, because if the laws were sufficient, why are we still dealing with illegal mining 9 months into his administration? Huge question, because one of the key issues every Ghanaian, every well-meaning Ghanaian had was the fact that Galamsey was a big deal. It was one of the reasons Ghanaians voted against the Akufo-Addo, the Bawumia ticket in the last election. Because our former president did say that he is going to put his job on the line for the sake of Galamsey. It was neither here nor there, because we didn't see an
optimal placement of legacy on the line.
Exactly.
So it's optimal.
Exactly.
Yes. The word is optimal means that he could have done better, but he didn't do fully what he... Yes.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
And to that extent, we did say, or many Ghanaians did say, he was a beneficiary of the illegal mining that's going on in various areas in Ghana. Now, the same people are saying the same thing about President Mahama, because they're saying that 9 months into his administration, he has not done enough. Now, sometime last month, we did bury 8 gallant soldiers who were on a trip to Obuasi for the same issue. If for nothing, some of these people are very close friends to the president. And I do believe this should put enough anger in his spirit. And I don't expect him to vent negatively, but in a positive way, if indeed there are sufficient laws, enforce them and make sure these laws are seen, working actively, so that anybody, irrespective of your political divide, religious affiliation, whatever, when you are on the wrong side of the law, as far as illegal mining is concerned, you are dealt with.
Sure. You know, Phil, this morning, let me start by saying that it is always important to start every conversation with an antecedent.
Exactly.
I want to start from make a trend or longitudinal expression to you. I'll say take it from a trend, a trajectory. Phil, it was in 2012, 2013, 14, 15. One of the things that really brought a huge exposure to the then NDC government, led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, within the 2012-2015 space, 16, was that there was a huge expose on Galamsey. That was the first time I had seen an aerial view of how water bodies were dissipated, distracted, and destroyed, and left ajar to waste off because of what we call illegal mining, aka Galamsey. And that was one of the things that Ghanaians had seen it on that worst level for so many years. We hadn't seen it in that worst state until that time. So it was able to help the NPP government win power in 2016 because of that Galamsey aspect. The NPP came to power, And their promise towards Galamsey fight was to be more drastic. So this Vanguard, Operation Vanguard, using the army and police, to be more brutal against this war, started. For the first 2016-2020 was very, I would say, was very good. The result was good. They were invading the sites, they were arresting, they were ransacking, confiscating properties used on these lands. 2020 to 2024 down the line, things turned backwards.
Yeah.
We realized that more illegal mining leases had been given.
Yeah.
So one was like, but you are the one fighting against it, yet you are giving leases.
Yeah.
And then you are also defending other mining concessions as not Galamsey.
Yeah.
Yet we see their outcomes. So then the trust the people of Ghana had in the then NPP government was lowering, was diminishing, because now we are not seeing the man who began with the Vanguard operation. Now we don't see that operation in effect, what is going on. The confidence was diminished. Ghanaians were not happy. So they voted against the dead government because of Galamsey. And you see, what really is the interesting aspect is that the latter period of that government, we had members of the NDC government. I mean, I'm speaking to Ghanaians. I am not speaking to people in blue, red, and white, and green, red, and black. I'm speaking to people in red, gold, green, and a black star. So nobody out there should misconstrue my comments. I'm speaking as a Ghanaian who is concerned about a menace called Galamsey, and we should all listen carefully. The advice, it was a very, very firm advice. Some will say cautions, whatsoever it may have been, that government declares a state of emergency. What is the meaning of this? What it means is that government should pay special attention to this thing called Galamsey and ensure that he profers very drastic measures towards it, because the effect of that activity is dire, unmerciful, and destructive to the safety and well-being of Ghanaians. And therefore, you don't also provide or give back a more flexible approach. It should be boots for Galamsey, and that is agreed. It didn't come from one person. The present Minister for Natural Resources, Honorable Amakofi Boa, made the same statement. His Excellency the President today made the same statement. In fact, Education Minister, these are gallant men of high repute, also said the same thing. What happened? Just a few moments later, we know the movie, the memes are a few moments later. What did we see? Now, first of all, the biggest shock for me was the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Amakofi Boa, lamenting on TV about Galamsey's effect. How can you hold a weapon in your hand and allow yourself to be bitten by a dog? Attack the dog. Attack it. So if you have got the machinery on your side and you are still lamenting, it tells a weakness within your posture. Fast forward, the president. It was through this course to securing or protecting our lands and water that this issue at Obuasi, or this program at Obuasi, was held. Gallant men, the 8 gallant men. It goes to our history. The 8 gallant men who were on a mission wholeheartedly to support a cause they believed in, left their comfort and safety in Accra and flew to Obuasi and met a very unfortunate death because of what? They were going to support a movement which was right-mannered to help us protect our land and water from degradation through illegal mining. They lost their lives. May their souls rest in peace. Their goodwill will forever stand. Indelible. Today, the president of the country has every room to attack Galamsey, because indeed, we have seen its worst. There's nothing again to see from the menace of Galamsey. We've seen it all. The lands destroyed, water bodies, colors changed, people developing kidney cancers.
Yeah.
We have seen it all. What else can Galamsey show us again? All we have to do is give it the attention it needs, drastic attention. The president, in his statement in opposition, said that, and I quote him. This video is circulated on social media. Everybody has seen it. He was defending the economic significance of Galamsey.
That's a major problem for me.
And let me break it down. He said that Galamsey, as we see it, has been a very good contributor to our gold reserves thus far. The registered miners in Ghana have not been able to catch up. It's true, Galamsey, that we've now been able to go beyond 13 tons of gold in reserves, and it's a good thing. Everybody heard it. He also mentioned that Galamsey is a source of employment for many young people. And if you go attacking it through the sort of emergency point of view, you are going to destroy the livelihoods and economic well-being of so many people, young people, whom if you displace them from New Galamsey, what else would they do? What's a very good way to defend this menace? Then, so I'm just saying the benefits of Galamsey are outlined. The employment for young people, economic well-being, and also the fact that it has increased our gold reserves. Clap for Galamsey. Can you clap for Galamsey? No, can we all can you clap for Galamsey?
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, clap for Galamsey. For all those who think that he made the right point for this, clap for him. Now, let me tell you, on the other hand, whilst we are seeing these three things happening that are very satisfying for him, there are also things we are losing on the other hand, which I will spell to him. One is that our waters, the color and the concentration of our water from white to yellow or whatsoever, is not reducing any moment from now. It's becoming more thicker and thicker. And today, the Ghana Water Company, out of frustration, is increasing water tariffs to what, 200% plus, because they feel like it costs them a lot to refine and purify that water. That Galamsey, increasing gold tonnage and employment is causing us.
This is a thing I
Let's care for ourselves in this country.
So, Doc, before you continue, per the figures, over 4 million people are dependent on Galamsey. I don't get why we want to allow 4 million people to hold the rest of the over 30 million people, Ghanaians ransom to paying tariffs for this.
You know the sad thing? The Galamseyers over there, the amount of money they earn into their pockets, they don't care if they will drink, they will use bottled water to even bath.
Yes.
Because they have got the money. The inflation they create within their own communities, one hasn't even mentioned it.
Yeah.
We are here.
I don't see why.
So for them, they can buy bottled water and bath with it. Just so the injustice of a small group of people to be tolerated to affect the wide majority is simply unacceptable. And statements like these will be misconstrued as hate speech and speech to incite violence in Ghana. So that the president is on a chase to identifying IP address of people who speak objectively and constructively to these so-called very irresponsible comments he had made. That is the cost. That's one way to also gag Ghanaians to keep quiet and not be very vocal about these things. Democracy is threatened right from the onset at the media encounter he had. And I'm pointing that to you and everybody out there. Again, environmental degradation. No, these lands, when they are being dissipated for illegal mining, cannot be re-indemnified again. You can't use them for any good again. They don't become arable lands for agriculture. You will see the holes dug deep, the water fill, and the chemical within it destroys everything. They will say, well, destroy everything. It destroys everything. There's no need to make sense out of those lands. It becomes a tourist site. A Galamsey rejects tourist sites. Phil, the last one is the fact that, there's nothing as precious than human lives. So if this government set off to start a task force to go and do preach, say no to Galamsey in these areas, or to become more of like poster distributors, going there with mere hands and papers to go and say, we beg you, please, Galamsey destroy the environment, so please stop. They say, yeah, we hear you. See you tomorrow. What task force was that? Was it a broadcast task force or a brute force task force? Do we think that at this stage and time, we need a cordial task force or a brute force task force? What did we hear? He's initiating an exchange program. These are some of the measures that he can exhaust. Before an SOE comes into play, he can exhaust an exchange program. For what? Maybe he can bring people from Australia and co to come and teach us best practice. If you think, even recently, professors and scientists at the Ghana Academy of Art and Science, they held open lectures, and I advised Professor Frederick Atwama in his I think his first lecture, expressed how we could curb using very calculated measures, could curb the menace of artisanal mining and illegal mining in Ghana. And he proffered better steps that we could use. There was no exchange program in it. It was beyond exchange programs. We've gone beyond that. So I think that we can do better with this issue of illegal mining. He has all the powers to deploy. If he tells Ghanaians, well, this is what I could do to flex the matter, let's see the outcome of the flex. But the 200 plus tariff, we will pay.
This is quite unfortunate.
We will pay. We will pay it.
It's unfortunate. Mr. President, if you are watching or listening by any means, we do understand you want to avoid drastic measures because of some livelihoods you have mentioned. But the maintaining of pressure on illegal mining operators, we want to see that thing. Indeed, we agree it is not an event, it is a process. But how quickly this thing has to work, I mean, we can't wait because the effects are things we do not want to relate with any longer. We voted out the past government because of some of these things. We have faith in you. Thank you, Mr. President. On this note, we'll take a quick break. When we are back, we'll get into lifestyle.
Are you a university, college, high school, private organization, NGO, individual professor, instructor or facilitator seeking to take advantage of the numerous benefits of online education? Look no further. The AAU eLearn Africa LMS is a great opportunity to begin your journey to online course development and creation for teaching, learning and training purposes. AAU eLearn Africa LMS, which is a partnership between the Association of African Universities and eLearn Africa, has made available ease to use online learning tools to all stakeholders within the educational ecosystem of the African continent. This is to enhance teaching and learning in the bid to expand online learning opportunities for students in Africa. The online platform is open and available for free to all stakeholders and facilitates virtual access to classes without needing the other tools such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, among others. For more information, visit www.elearnafricalms.com or contact us via aaulms@aau.org or estherm@elearnafrica.com. Follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at AAU eLearn Africa LMS.
Hello, Africa. Keep watching AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
This program is proudly sponsored by Venom Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks. Welcome back from that break, and we are still watching the Hello Africa morning show coming to you from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities in Accra, Ghana, and I'm doing the segment still with Dr. Agyeman Otchere-Darko. And in our first story on the lifestyle segment, Accra is set to host the Festival of Arts and Culture, Festac Africa Festival 2025 from September 21 to 27, bringing together Africans and people of African descent under the theme harnessing health, culture, trade, climate change, gender equity, and tourism for sustainable economic growth. The festival was officially launched at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park on September 11th with a call to cement Africa's legacy and strengthen unity. Organizers, together with the Ghana Tourism Authority, announced Ghana's readiness to stage a world-class event showcasing Africa's creativity, commerce, and collective power. The GTA CEO, speaking through a representative, said the festival would unlock opportunities for businesses, innovators, and creators to access new markets while turning culture into commerce and creativity into opportunity. The chairman of Festac, Engineer Yinka Abioye, described the week-long celebration as more than an event, calling it a rallying point to preserve Africa's legacy. He also added that Ghana would host the Black Star Experience, uniting Africans and the diaspora at a historic moment that coincides with the birthday of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah on September 21 and World Tourism Day on September 27. Highlights of the festival includes conferences, cultural performances, youth and sports events, film screenings, culinary shows such as the Ghana versus Niger Jollof contest, and nightly performances at Independence Square. First held in Dakar in 1966 and in Lagos 1977, Festac returned in 2022 in Zanzibar and has since been celebrated in Tanzania and Kenya, with Ghana now carrying the Pan-African touch. So this is a beautiful event. I believe it's going to be an opportunity for us to experience and celebrate Africa. So those of you who are interested in doing this, I believe you can get in touch with the Ghana Tourism Authority for further details, and then we'll celebrate Africa in Guan style. Now to the story that I'm most interested in on the lifestyle segment. Hilda Bassi's world's largest pot of jollof.
Jollof galore.
Have you seen any video around that?
Yeah, you know, I at first when we all heard it was like, we thought it was ridiculous. I mean, Hilda, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, how can you cook jollof in such a very big
6 by 6 meters?
but you know, I saw videos, snipers of them as they put the pepper, because my worry was how would you tell the ingredients, the portions of what you apply? How will it make sense? Because if I'm cooking with my normal pot at home, I know that I know what to apply. But for this big one, for over 4,000 people, how do you know that this amount of pepper is enough? Amount of tomatoes is enough? But Hilda is a risk taker, and she's very confident. She believes in herself, and she supported by other chefs across, holding giant spoons and ladles, were stirring the pepper. Bags of rice were carried and then were poured into its stead. At the end of the day, what did I see? Jollof.
So before we look at the video, let's just go through the brief. So thousands gathered at Echo Hotel and Suites in Lagos on Friday, September 12th, to witness Nigerian chef and food influencer Hilda Bassi attempt a world first by cooking the largest pot of jollof rice ever prepared. Jollof, a dish popular across West Africa, was at the center of the event that drew food lovers, vendors, celebrities, and fans from across the country. The 28-year-old, who gained global fame in 2023 after Guinness World Records recognized her 93 hours and 11-minute cooking marathon, explained that her motivation was to showcase Nigeria's pride and culinary excellence. She noted that as the giant of Africa, Nigeria deserved to hold a record for the biggest pot of jollof rice. Now, the massive custom-made pot built over 2 months. Can you imagine? It took over 2 months to build the pot.
Yeah, sure.
Wow. Had a capacity of 22,619
It's not in the market.
liters.
It's not in the market. Custom made.
It had a capacity of 22,619 liters and was locally produced. Yeah, I'm impressed to hear that. Locally produced. More than 300 people joined her culinary team to bring the project to life. Ingredients included so this is what we're talking about, the ingredients. How much portion of what and blah, blah, blah.
I mean, I was concerned.
4,000 kilograms of rice.
4,000 kilograms of rice.
You and I have an idea of what a 5 kilo looks like.
Yeah.
So now this is 4,000 kilos of rice.
50 kilos times 2 times 80, right?
Yeah.
800.
Yeah.
Yeah, or 80 or 800. Yeah. And then how do you now break that down to the requisite spices that match all of these grammage?
Exactly.
Oh my.
So it goes on 1,200 kilograms of tomato paste, 600 kilograms of onions, 168 kilograms of goat's meat. My goodness. 700 kilograms of oil. Whoa. And 6,000 kilograms of water. Okay.
Nigeria don't do them. Nigeria don't do them again.
Like they say, Nigeria no they carry last.
You know, Ghana. Is it possible? Can we do that?
I don't know if anybody wants to attempt this.
I think we should try and do one. You know, Ghana jollof,
and an attempt. Would you want to be the one to cook the Ghana jollof?
I will participate though.
They
should give me the onion grinder. I will take onions.
All right, so let's look at the video and see what Hilda did over the weekend at the Echo Hotel and Suites in Nigeria.
This Jesus that I know is enough for me. This Jesus that I know is enough.
Nigeria, we are the giants of Africa, and jollof rice is a discourse that has been happening, you know, within so many African countries. And sometimes if you go to random countries, you'd find someone and say you're Nigerian, the first thing they ask you is about jollof rice, right? So I figured as the giants of Africa, it only makes sense that we are the ones that pioneer making the largest pot of Nigerian jollof rice.
Revealed that it took her over a year to plan this event. I mean, for me, it's a big deal.
Big deal.
You see, she appears in one day, and a few weeks before this, we saw her interviews when she showed us a video or a picture of the pots, and when she was standing in it and just trying to show us how big it is, because she looked so small when she stood. And so just to give us a sense of what this whole thing looks like. And to think that it took over a year to plan this is a thing I want to congratulate her on. Because, you know, a lot of people, when they want to do things, lately because of the age in which we are, there's a lot of social media, so people can do anything for any reason and they'll begin to trend. Whether this is for the right or wrong reasons, for the fact that it took her a year and over to plan this is a huge achievement. I don't know if the Guinness World Record folks would appreciate this and then give her flowers for what she has done. But planning for 1 year with over 300 people to bring this to the light of day.
You know, what's interesting is that when she was explaining the motive for this activity, she didn't mention any awards. She didn't mention recognition.
Exactly.
She didn't mention anything from Guinness. She said, Nigeria is the giant of Africa.
Exactly.
And whatever milestone achievements, it starts from Nigeria. I mean, they set the pace. They began hold this food jollof war with Ghana, and now if a Nigerian goes anywhere, say you're Nigerian, so your jollof, is it okay? It's a good name they got for themselves for the jollof space. So it's just appropriate that she does something very bizarre within the culinary space by doing this giant pot thing as a sign of Nigeria's authority and magnanimous stature within the African context. They set pace, they start trends, and then the whole world will follow. So come on, it's a good one. They began it. We'll take it up from Ghana here, and they will to end up in Senegal, and the rest will continue.
Yeah, I'm very sure somebody might want to try this for Ghana, and then definitely Senegal, because this triangle of Ghana jollof, Nigeria jollof, Hilda has taken the lead.
Everybody loves their jollof.
Yeah, and so on that note of jollof, eat jollof rice today. I think that's what I'm gonna have
yes.
for lunch. But it's going to be Ghana jollof.
Ghana jollof,
emphatically.
Yes.
Ghana jollof.
Yes, Ghana jollof.
I'm yet to taste the Senegalese one. I tasted the Nigerian, but honestly, I love the Ghana one. But
the difference between the Ghana and Senegal jollof is not too much.
It's not too much.
It's just about the other additions. So the Senegal jollof is like more of like a stew with so much meat, vegetables, rawly placed in it. So it has it's primarily assorted. Senegal, big ups to you.
So on the note of assorted jollof, just for laughs, I went to end the Hello Africa and Bigo drinks.